Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio, and this video is for the Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group, hashtag Magnificentmelange. This month we are doing simple techniques, and this one I actually learned from Shannon Green, and it's a way to get, it's like almost no-fail way to get some great painty paper. The first step, now this is the first time I'm doing it with heavy body paint. I would suggest using a thinner paint, maybe craft paint. This one is extra sticky, and I actually, for my substrate for the paper, I decided to use some old label sheets that I had, and I'm going to turn these into stickers that I can put, in a journal or on a mixed media piece. And so, yeah, I just picked colors. The real trick is picking colors that are next to each other on the color wheel to help not get mud. Now, the dark pink, purpley pink color I used, which probably had a little bit too much blue in it, so the orange mixed with that gets a little brown. But I don't think it looks too bad, and I tried to avoid mixing it too much, even though it looks like it totally did. Now here's the problem with the thicker, heavier paint. It's very sticky, and I'm using labels, so they're kind of separating, plus it's tearing the paper. But I'm going to apply more paint, and you won't even notice in the end. Now if I had used just regular copy paper or cardstock, I don't think the tearing would have happened. These label pages are like decades old, so when I've done it previously with craft paint, I didn't have any trouble at all. So here I'm just adding a little bit of black, and I decided to use black gesso because I didn't have any black craft paint. And oh yes, so each time you want to smush your paint with another sheet of paper. That helps spread it out, and then share that with the other sheet, and speeds up the drying time because you don't have quite as much paint on there. And I am adding some lighter pink. This one's just a shade lighter than the last one. It's because I was trying to lighten up my page a little bit. Felt like it was too orange, too dark. It's still right within that color family. Analogous, I think it is. Colors next to each other on the color wheel. So now this one, I made sure it was dry. This one is yellow, so it's close to the orange, but it's not close to the pink. I made sure the pink was dry, and I just want to lighten it up. I still feel like it's a little dark, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to add white. I think I'm going to add white later. And then just smush that. And I know it looks like a hot mess, but it will actually, I actually was pretty happy with how it turns out. Here again, smushing it together. Now here I really tear off a spot. See that? I just tear it off completely. I just cover that up with paint. I just took a little bit more of that yellow color and cover it up. And here I'm adding some of that purple back in. The one that was making the orange look a little too brown. And smushing that together a little bit. So yeah, you smush it together, you get two for the price of one. And they're a little bit different than each other. When I used craft paint, not as much color transfers to the other page. With the heavy body paint, it just really transferred. So now I'm taking some white gesso. You can use white paint. This part I am stenciling, so it is easier to use a little bit heavier body paint when you're stenciling. You don't get as much seeping through. And you can use a sponge and dab it straight on. I just have this stencil brush that I really like to use, and I'm lazy. I didn't want to sit there and dab. So I just brushed, and because I had a heavier paint, it worked okay. I should add that I get a little paint on there and then I dab it off. So you see me put the brush in and then pat it off a little bit. You don't want to like have globs of paint. If you use a stencil brush, you don't want to have globs of paint on there. They will go under no matter what you try. So I just continue this stencil until my whole page is covered. Now this right here, if you just use regular paper and not sticker paper, you could have this fun background. If you do use sticker paper and you really like the background, you can always scan it or copy it so you have a copy that you can use, which I didn't do that before pulling some stickers off and demoing that, but that's okay. And if you don't like this color combination, any colors that are next to each other on the color wheel will work. You could do shades of blue and purple, or you know, red, orange, yellow, which would be nice. So here's the other page. You can see it looks a little bit different. It has a little bit more white in the background. It doesn't quite have as much paint because it's just the kind of cleanup page. And I'm just taking black gesso this time and going through. This one is a little bit runnier than my other, so it's not as clean. Well, and there's black in the background, so you got those are black paint spots that were already on there, I promise. But that's okay. We're gonna go through and clean it up a little bit. Now, once I get this all stenciled, you don't have to do this next part. In fact, on the black one, I for sure wanted to do it, but on the white one, I debated, but I ended up doing it, and that's outlining the stencil images. I know they're really detailed, and I don't show you the whole thing because it took me a long time. But you don't have to use like a lacy, did I say that already? You don't have to use a lacy stencil. You can use any pattern you want. You can use large images. You can use like a grid or a chevron or anything, just to create some fun painty background, or, you know, sticker paper. Or it could be, you know, if you're using regular paper, you could cut it into strips and make homemade washi out of it. Alright, so we've got those all done. So now with this one, I am using a Posca just because I know it's acrylic and I know when it dries it'll be permanent and I don't have to worry about it too much. And all I'm doing is outlining the pattern. Now I think this one looks good with or without the outlining, but I do end up doing the whole thing just because I wanted to. And on the other one, I outline with a white Posca. I don't have as thin a Posca pen for the white, so you can see it's a little bit thicker pattern, but there it is. Now, because I use the heavy body craft paint, it's a little harder to pull those sticker labels apart. But it works, see, and there we have it. And I'll show you, I think I grabbed my little journal. We're just going to stick a couple, if I can find the front. There we go. We'll just stick it in there. Sorry, I'm kind of cut off, but I'll take a picture. So that's it, an easy background. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to check the Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group. That's where this is coming from. And if you'd like to see more from me and you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.